Friendship is golden. But I've got no sense. Get it? Because I'm a pet. No, please. Corruption. What is it good for? Currently, not much. Skaven corruption has a little bit of nuance with it. It gives a little and takes a little, but vampire and chaos corruption are incredibly boring in comparison. They are simply numbers that you try to raise while the enemy tries to lower them, and they cause attrition and let you heal when they're high enough, and that's it. Odds are you're also aware that Creative Assembly are quite generous with their free content updates and can bring some amazing stuff around when they want to, like the Empire and Wood Elves rework or the Skaven Undercities. Now, keeping those two facts in mind, and also remembering that Demons of Chaos are coming in the third game, that means that corruption is going to be a relatively important thing that isn't that important right now, and I believe I have the solution to fix that. The Climate Corruption Update. So now that we've established that Chaos and Vampire Corruption are fucking nerds that are losers and need to be bullied, here's my two-state solution. 1. Give Chaos, Vampire, and Untainted all new thematic abilities that make sense with them, just like how the Skaven get uses of Menace Below. And 2. Give all these corruption-causing factions the ability to change the climate itself to a new kind of land that's much more preferable to their race. Now, this all probably sounds like insane rambling of a madman with no idea what the hell he's talking about. So it's a good thing I made some diagrams to show what the hell I'm talking about. Chaos. They specifically need a lot of help. As a lot of people are aware, the Beastmen are an absolute joke, and between the Warriors of Chaos and Norska, nothing ever stays burned down because people can just resettle whatever they destroyed in a heartbeat, so you'll get halfway through burning the Empire and then turn around and see that Kislev has been resettled by the fucking Border Princes somehow. So, this corruption update is supposed to help them first, and here's how we'll do it. Since Chaos Corruption is supposed to represent the fabric of reality falling apart and giving way to the void that is the warp, I say that the more corruption in the area, the more winds of magic are flowing around, because that's what the Realm of Terror is. It's just raw magic. It also means that things are more unstable, so I say miscast chance should go up as well. But the Servants of Chaos should benefit from this, so I say that any Chaos-aligned factions should get more Winds of Magic and less miscast chance. It's still there, it's still the crazy power of Chaos, but the gods are on their side while they want to watch an Empire Wizard's head pop. So, for example, at 53% corruption, maybe it'd be 15 Winds of Magic and 25 miscast chance for an Empire Wizard, but 22 Winds of Magic and 17% miscast chance for Chaos or Norska. Now, imagine with me, you're a Chaos army, doesn't matter, Norska, Beastmen, anyone. You just burned down a town. Wouldn't it be nice if it stayed destroyed and wasn't literally resettled 2 turns from now like nothing happened? So, I say if a region is at 75% corruption, any chaotic army can go up and search the ruins with a new option, destroy everything. For 1 turn, the army is locked against this ruin, like it's sieging it or something, and they get a massive replenishment bonus, because frankly, people like the Beastmen and Warriors of Chaos need huge replenishment bonuses. But at the start of the next turn, the climate itself is changed to chaos wastes to make it completely uninhabitable for any other kind of race. Sure, they can take it, but the public order and maintenance costs are going to make it descend into a rebellion 3 turns later. So you've actually destroyed the land itself. No damn border princes are going to come up and steal this anytime soon. And for the cherry on top, I suggest that any Chaos-themed faction can recruit units instantly, a la the Raise Dead thing, from Chaos Wastelands, except they can be cross-race. So maybe the Warriors of Chaos could get some Beastmen to help them, maybe the Beastmen could get some Norscan monsters to help them, and when Game 3 comes around, everyone can get demons to help them. Two quick ideas that didn't make the cut but could be interesting is A, depending on the region that's been turned into a wasteland, determines what you can recruit there. Like Empire lands would be filled with beastmen. If you go to Nagaron, there's more monsters, etc. While the other was that a freshly destroyed region would actually be resettled by a small neutral chaos faction just to sit on it and keep people from wanting to try to recolonize it, but I'm not so sure. Vampire corruption. This one is a bit different, but I feel like it fits them quite thematically, and honestly, I think it may be a great shoe-in for the idea of better diplomacy in this game, which we desperately need. So if something like this got through, that means hopefully the entire system would be made better soon. Instead of changing vampiric corruption, I just want to make something new, vampiric influence, which would be a new diplomatic way of gauging how much control and influence you actually have over an entire faction. Now, this would be determined and calculated by your actual diplomatic relations, the amount of vampire corruption across all of their lands, your actual power dynamics as to who's more powerful, and then their own personal view towards you. You put all of this together, and now you have a way to tell how much they actually would listen to a vampire if they came talking. The better your influence, the better your chances at getting diplomatic relations sent through. Low, non-aggression, medium, defensive alliance, but if you're high enough, you can enthrall them, which immediately vassalizes the entire faction. That means you could take an entire horde of greenskins, bribe and scare them enough into worshipping you, and then you can tell them to do whatever the hell you want. Considering just how small of a presence vampires actually are on the map, regardless of how terrifying of a death ball Manny turns into, I feel like this fits them very well because they don't need to numerically own the map. They can just control the people on it and turn them into their slaves. But what if you do want to take all that land? Then you're going to have to kill everything, which is the new stance that vampire armies get in regions that have 75% or more corruption. Depending on the strength of the army and how many are doing it, will slowly change the land into a new climate called Deadlands. This would be areas that are naturally vampiric, like Sylvania or Mausoleon, but the point is that this now represents a region that, who cares what used to be here, it's all dead now. But fighting in Deadlands is the real nasty thing, because any battles taking place in a Deadlands climate will have a Murderous Mastery style gauge at the top that when filled spawns random zombies, fell bats, and direwolves all around the map who attack anyone they can find. If someone in the battle is a vampire army, then maybe they can control it. I'm not sure how that would work out, and even less so on how it would work when there's two of them, but whatever. Skaven corruption. Since Skaven corruption is actually already pretty cool with the whole public order and menace below thing, the only thing I would change is the idea that once you've hit 50% corruption in a region, you start gaining a daily chance to just naturally form an undercity under it. Because, Skaven corruption represents Skaven being there. If the area is corrupted enough, it makes sense that there would eventually be an undercity. However, on the climate side, it's a lot more exciting. When a region that you own or have an undercity in reaches 75% corruption, you now have the option to take everything. This radically increases the income and food production for a set amount of turns, but when that's done, the region is turned into a wasteland climate, the same kind of thing that you find either in the Badlands or at Skaven Blight, to represent that the entire place has just been strip-mined of anything useful. It's bad for the Skaven too, but they don't care because they made all that money. Now, wastelands aren't inherently unique to Skaven, but I feel like it really pushes the idea if it's just desolate, there's nothing left here. It's not undead like a deadland, it's just normal dead. And so I say that wastelands should naturally come with a massive penalty to growth and income for anyone that settles in them. Just make it an awful place. Untainted. Not specifically any faction's corruption, more so just a lack of the other corruptions when that faction doesn't want it. It needs a little bit of an overhaul to actually make it noteworthy. As far as economy goes, I believe that Untainted should carry with it bonuses to public order, income, and growth, all scaling with it, so the cleaner the region is, the more, functional and happy it is. As for battling, I say that any corruption-causing armies that have to fight in a region with 75% or more untainted will get massive leadership debuffs. So it's not like Archaon can just walk onto a 100% untainted Reichland and just start fighting like nothing's happening. These chaos-causing armies will need to find ways to lower the untainted level while increasing their own corruption. They can't just waltz straight in. They're going to suffer attrition and have horrible leadership. But with all these other factions destroying and ruining climates, it only makes sense that you have some way of fixing it. So, when you take a settlement in a region that has been corrupted from its original climate, you will now have an option called Rebuild Everything when you're at 75% untainted. What this does is absolutely kills all of your incoming growth for that settlement, but now Untainted goes straight up through the roof while they try to clean it up. When you hit a certain time or percentage of Untainted, not only is the climate restored to what it used to be, but the settlement itself gets a tremendous boost to growth and public order. The idea being that before, when they were cleaning stuff up, they had to dedicate every single resource and person they had to it, but now that they're done and they've cleaned the land, they're happy, they're ecstatic, and now things can grow and work again. Now imagine how radically different the game would be with these changes. Now, Norskins and Beastmen are actually a threat, because if you don't deal with them, they will destroy your land. The vampires are going to be a much larger threat because you have no idea who they're puppeteering and who's going to be attacking who, and all the while they're stealing land for themselves. And the Skaven are just going around doing whatever the hell they want under your nose until it's way too late for you to do anything about it, just as nature intended. And imagine the endgame now. The final wave of chaos is actually a threat. The land that they destroy will stay destroyed. They will just be a wave of destruction washing down that either takes everything or is stopped. And even if chaos is beaten back, that means after they're gone, there's going to be a massive rush of people trying to steal the best land from each other, which could just lead to a whole new era of warfare. The game never ends. And so that is my climate corruption idea. It's all just a theory craft. It's all just an idea for a free LC. I think it would be cool, but I'm sure people have some feedback or bitching they would like to let me know about, so feel free to leave comments about it. Also, all I can say is that we're a very passionate community for this game that is great, not perfect, but great, and we should be glad that we have such a good company like Creative Assembly there that actually listens to our feedback.